Good time of day. Oh, wow. Let me retry that. Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode, admittedly, I don't remember exactly everything that happened because I recorded it like 2 weeks ago. Sorry for the long gap in episodes again. It happens. I'm trying to not do that, believe it or not. It just happens to be the case. We'll be done with this chapter eventually. I think we're at least in the last third, maybe last quarter, but I don't know. Anyways, from what I roughly remember, last episode, Takano had a whole existential crisis because she couldn't find Tomitake. Meanwhile, Irie talked to her and was just like, yes, everything is alright, and now we're doing Project... What's it called? Project Midnight? What was there? A 48-hour operation. Right, that's what it was called. I'm just a dumbass. Anyways, let's read. It was past midnight and almost dawn. The very quiet time of the night where staying up late and getting up early melded together. That exact thing was happening in the offices of the Okanogi Gardeners. There were only 2 people on guard duty, and they were playing cards. They weren't sentries, so they really didn't need to be on guard all the time. However, they weren't allowed to fall asleep either. After the TV broadcast went off the air a little past midnight, they usually ended up playing cards. Suddenly, the phone rang. The phone was right nearby, so one of them answered immediately. Thank you for calling. This is Okanogi Gardeners. Yes? What? Suddenly, the man taking the call stood up with a jolt. He even hit his knee against the desk, but he was too panicked to care. Takano dashed into the underground security room in a hurry. I'm sorry to bother you, Major! Forget the coffee. Give me an update. Are you sure about this? Yes. At 4:15 a.m., a body found in the Okinomiya jurisdiction was identified as R. How could that be? R is homesick with a cold, isn't she? You were observing her, weren't you? Major, there's more. According to an intelligence agent at Okinomiya PD, at least 48 hours have passed since her death. Takano could feel her blood freezing, starting from her feet. She just couldn't believe what was happening. At least 48 hours? At least 48 hours since the death of the Queen Carrier? Takano just couldn't understand. That can't be right. Why are the villagers still so composed? They could have developed terminal symptoms as early as after 36 hours, which was last night. But, according to the intelligence agent, this is reliable information. And the station was even put under a gag order because they were fearful of the religious impact it could have on the village. What do you mean? Then who do you have observing that house? Major, our observation system is perfect. Rika is there at the house. Ever since we started, she hasn't even stepped out of the house once. Director Irie confirmed it himself. It's just impossible. Then how do you explain this? The police department is saying that the body is Rika, and that it has been over 48 hours since her death, right? Are you telling me they're lying? A lie? A lie? That's it. Maybe it's a mistake. I was planning to fake my death using an operative from the Gifu Police Department tonight. This is the same thing. Yes, it's a lie. It must be a mistake. Takano wasn't confused because she was still half asleep. No, Takano was afraid. Her grandfather wrote in his article that within 48 hours of the Queen Carrier's death, everyone in the village would develop terminal stage symptoms. This would mean that he had been wrong. What about everyone who believed his words? What would they think? Excuse me, Major! There's a phone call from Nomura-sama in Tokyo. Yeah. Why is that woman calling me now? While I'm on the phone, check the body the police found immediately. We can't, not right now. When our agents come in, we'll have them approach the station and observe what's going on. And what time is that? 5? 6? It needs to be done as soon as possible. Tell them to hurry up. Good morning. Takano here. Customer service voice. All the unit members were gathered in the office of Okanogi Gardeners, which served as a garrison for the mountain dogs in Okinomiya. I see. As soon as you find out something from the police, call both me and the Major. By the way, regarding the observation system at the R residence, why didn't you confirm that she's home?
We assumed she didn't pick up the phone because she was sick with a cold. Director Irie went by and confirmed her presence, so we just took him at his word.
Naive. So there is someone at the R residence, that's for sure, right?
Yes, there is someone there. Commander, why don't we enter the residence? We still have a little time.
We can't do that without approval from the Major. I'm sure she won't let us until she confirms the matter at the Okinomiya PD. In preparation for that order, increase the number of observers at the residence. At least 8 people.
Commander, there will be a festival at the shrine later today. We can observe, but I don't think it'll be possible to enter until tomorrow around midnight.
Shit! What lousy timing! Oh, wait. This is too much of a coincidence, don't you think? Okanogi's rusty yet wild instincts were sounding an alarm. Why is... Okay, fucking... I don't know if I'm just missing something here, but Irie is supposed to be on their side. So if he's confirming that Rika is there, and then Rika shows up dead, having been dead for 48 hours, they would naturally assume Irie's fucking lying to them, right? Like, they can't just be like, oh no, Irie's totally correct. Like, that would be the first thing I would think, right? Just being like, okay, so we're supposed to assassinate this little girl because we're fucking psychopaths who would do anything for a paycheck. And resident doctor in our, who's connected to our group but not necessarily a part of it, has been confirming little girl is there for like the past few fucking days. Now she shows up dead somewhere, having been dead for 48 hours, which means Mr. Doctor Man's a liar. But I guess these guys are fucking stupid. But, oh well. He sensed that someone was attacking them. He sensed that his enemy had begun to attack. He realized that the enemy had taken the initiative. People usually take a deep breath before they attack. That moment right before they strike is their most vulnerable. Okanogi assumed that whoever his enemy was, they were led by an excellent commander who knew the precise moment to strike. By the way, about First Lieutenant Tomitake. They said he didn't show at the clinic's meeting the other day.
Is that right? I'll have someone check on him.
The Major asked me if I knew where he went.
Do you think it's First Lieutenant Tomitake?
Have Nightingale check Tomitake's hotel room. Shit, he tricked us!
So they're suspicious of Tomitake, but not Irie.
No one ever suspects the doctor, ha ha ha.
Well, we can't turn back now. Let's see what happens next.
Kumagai was trembling with excitement, but he would not show it on his face.
Kuma-chan, I'm going to check the communication center. Hold down the fort. You bet! Nobody will get through here over my dead body! All I have to do now is handle the phone calls. I'm going back to my post. Kumagai, take care of this place, okay? You can count on me!
Kumagai closed the door quietly and stood in front of it. This was his chance to show Ooishi what he was made of.
I will guard this door so well!
Ooishi was on his way to the communication center. All radio communications and phone calls pass through there first. During business hours, each section answers its own phone calls, but when they aren't open, the communication center answers them instead.
How's it going here?
Well, there was an outside call for forensics calling directly just a few minutes ago.
Who called?
It was Chief Inspector Ootaka.
Ah, Ootaka-kun.
Heh. Ooishi grinned. The enemy had started to move. They must have bribed someone inside the police department to be their spy. I just want to make sure. That name sounds slightly familiar. I was told, I believe, in the comments of the finale of Sumihara Boshi, that there's a certain character that when they show up again, I need to do an impression of Kronk. Yeah, it is Ootaka. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Ah! The video audio started playing on accident. I think that picked up because I'm using Bandicam. So, 2 me's, oh no! And he had started to move, just as they planned. Ooishi was surprised to learn that it had been Ootaka. Ooishi had never liked Ootaka, because he also had 2 O's at the beginning of his name, because he constantly boasted about his academic background and always opposed Ooishi, who believes in relying on experience. They didn't get along at all when they worked together at the prefectural police department. The phone call was ended. I'm going to ask the old man. Let's see. Hello? Oh, it's me, don't worry. So, how was it?
That greenhorn sure put on airs. So I just snubbed him. The idiot sure got mad. He'll come here as soon as the marshal gets in.
That's so like him. He can't even fight by himself.
This is getting more interesting by the minute. That phone call woke me up completely. Just like you said, there are plenty of suspicious goings-on out there. I can just feel it.
Well, things are getting interesting now. What's up next? Hey, demons over here. Come further in.
Demons?
Hello, this is Tomitake.
Oh, good morning, First Lieutenant Tomitake. Sorry to bother you this early. I'm calling to let you know that the mountain dogs have made a move. Just a little while ago, all the members were called in because of an emergency. We don't know the reason yet.
I see. So it's finally started.
Tomitake turned on the light next to his bed and put on his glasses as he answered. Also, there's been a rumor going around in the police department over there. We haven't confirmed it yet, but the Queen Carrier's dead body was found.
What? Tell me more!
Supposedly, an unidentified body turned out to be Rika Furude. They say she died over 48 hours ago. It's past the time limit in Emergency Manual 34, but there has been no change in Hinamizawa so far. Have you heard anything?
No, I'm in Okinomiya, so I didn't know. But that isn't possible. It must be some kind of mistake.
That's what we think too, but according to our analysis, the information is very reliable and it's almost a certainty. We haven't confirmed it yet, but multiple forensics department workers have testified.
What?
Tomitake realized something. He realized that the Okinomiya police station was Ooishi's territory. He also realized that this must be the work of Rika and her friends. Tomitake tried to think calmly. Even if they didn't know who their enemy was, it's obvious the emergency manual is the signal for an explosion. So they must have come up with the idea to destroy that signal. The foundation of the emergency manual is that unless something is done about it, within 48 hours after the Queen Carrier's death, all the villagers will develop terminal stage symptoms. So if nothing happens after 48 hours, there's no need for the emergency manual. And with that, the mountain dogs have been called in. Hello? First Lieutenant Tomitake?
Sorry. Considering the current situation, it'll be hard to tell if anything suspicious is happening at the Urie Institute. Please ask the Colonel to check immediately. Also, in case of an emergency, can you make sure the bloodhounds are ready to deploy?
Roger that. We should have more information by 9 a.m. If the mountain dogs revolt, it'll become very dangerous there. Please be very cautious.
Of course I'll be careful.
I'll talk to you again at 9 a.m. It was 6 a.m. Tomitake would get another call in 3 hours.
Well, time to go to sleep.
Nightingale 1 to all units. Tomitake is in room 406. Observation team, do you see anything? This is Nightingale 4. Nothing from the outside.
This is Nightingale 5. Nothing on this floor. This is Nightingale 3. There's no sound in the room. He's probably asleep.
There was a Do Not Disturb sign on Tomitake's door. Are they at the original hotel or the new one? Perhaps he stayed up very late last night and was planning to sleep in. This was a great chance for the Nightingales.
Be sure to capture him alive. It's an order from the Major. Let's go!
They tried to break into Tomitake's room very quietly. Obviously, it was a simple job for them to pick a hotel room's lock. The two members at the door communicated with each other using sign language.
Even knowing he was asleep, it'd be a good idea not to barge in. They opened the door very cautiously and very quietly. The room's interior was organized but tasteless, typical of cheap hotels. The only furnishings were a bed, a small desk, and a coin-operated TV. Clearly, only one person could stay in this room. And there in the bed, Tomitake couldn't be found. There's 2 beds in this CG, though, so...
What's wrong, Nightingale 3? Respond! Shit. This room is empty!
It was still early in the morning, but the room was empty.
What's going on? Tomitake likes to take walks and also takes pictures of wild birds. Could he have gone out to do that? No, that's not it! He might have deceived us!
The Do Not Disturb sign was on the door. With that sign there, the housekeepers wouldn't come in the room, so they wouldn't know if it was empty or not. The sign had probably been on there since at least the day before. Knowing that Tomitake was planning to stay for a long period, the hotel hadn't really paid much attention. In other words, the room had been empty since then. I bet he changed hotels, expecting an attack. I see. That's why he hasn't been seen lately. Call the Major immediately! Damn it, our plan has been leaked! Okanogi realized that he had been beaten to the punch. The foundation of the emergency manual had collapsed, and with that, the basis of the final operation was shaky. Okanogi felt that the Major had panicked and rushed into confirming what was going on too hastily. I did not mean to do that. If Tomitake suspected us and went to hiding, then after, caught wind of that, he was sure to come grab us by our tails. Everything is just too convenient. Shit! This must be exactly what the enemy planned. Okanogi tried to calm himself. If he was going to investigate in secret, he could assume that Tomitake was still nearby. The department in Tokyo must be the one conducting the investigation, so he must be waiting somewhere for a report from that department. Tomitake was probably at a new hotel, probably somewhere in Okinomiya. Get in touch with Crow in Tokyo. There must be someone reporting to him regularly. Find the number they're calling. If the number is somewhere in Shishibone City, bingo! Okanogi was confident about his hunch. But if what he was thinking is correct, that meant his identity was about to be exposed. It also meant his operation had failed before it even started. But it wasn't a checkmate quite yet. If he could prove that the dead body at the Okinomiya police station wasn't R, then everything would go back to square one. All he had to do was capture Tomitake, and then check the body at the station. That was all.
Commander, I got a hold of Crow. They won't be able to tell exactly what they talked about, but they say they can find the phone number. They just need a little time.
How much time?
Just a few hours, they said.
Shit! They want just a few hours, huh? Tell them I don't want to rush them, but they better be quick. It was a little past 6 a.m. It was already light outside, but still too early for the cicadas to start their morning chorus. They had endured the first wave. It was now a matter of how quickly they could recover. Okanogi just hoped that the Major didn't throw a fit.
Commander! A message from Crow. They're still looking into the phone number. Also, the research division's routine check-in time is at 9 a.m.
3 more hours! He looked up at the clock. Even the little things were beginning to bother Okanogi. Every time the second hand moved, he became more impatient, realizing the check-in time was getting closer and closer.
Also, Colonel Oka, head of investigations, issued a standby order to the bloodhounds. He hasn't said anything about a mission yet, though.
Okay, so that means they can still stand down. If nothing happens, he can just play it off as a drill. We're okay. We still have time!
More information! The head of investigations called the Chief of Staff's home line. We don't have the details.
We're okay. We're still okay. It's a close call, but we're okay. The Bloodhound standby orders meant they saw a very high chance of the Irie Institute revolting. The people on site must be practically certain of it. Although it's not as difficult to execute as the emergency manual, ordering out the Bloodhounds isn't that easy. They only did so because they've realized that some kind of trouble is afoot. Okanogi was sure that the people who wanted to conclude matters peacefully were trying to settle things down by saying it was just a mistake. An order to the bloodhounds to stand by without clarifying a mission is like a middle ground in that sense. But the head of the research division had called the chief of staff. This was a very dangerous situation for the mountain dogs. In other words, the higher ranks of the SDF, or people even higher than them, had decided that the bloodhounds could take the field. The uniforms are hot-blooded, but the suits always push for peaceful resolutions. They still hadn't decided which way they want to go yet. Our loss wasn't certain yet. Win or tie, everything was riding on the same table. If that was the case, the call coming in at 9 AM from the research division didn't bode well. Okanogi couldn't say why, but he had that impression. It was just his wild instinct doing its job. He could guess that the people in Tokyo were going to ask Tomitake about the situation in detail, and then decide what to do based on that. It was possible that the head of the division, or even the chief of staff himself, might come on the phone. Then the bloodhounds might get an order as soon as the 9 AM phone conversation was over, which would result in his defeat. Tokyo was still unsure. Some were still thinking it was some kind of mistake, or they wanted to think it was some kind of mistake. If Tomitake didn't answer the phone, they might send some people immediately, but they wouldn't order out the bloodhounds. There was a chance it could end in a draw. If they found out that the body didn't actually belong to R, then, although it would corner them, they still had a good chance of winning. But they'd lose the possibility of a complete victory. Okanogi knew that Takano's clients hadn't ordered anything else but exactly that. He didn't want to admit it, but the enemy's surprise attack had succeeded.
Commander.
Shut up! Calm down. They aren't sure yet. They're suspicious, but they aren't sure. We're still okay. Anyway, whoever gets information first wins. Either they find out something first, or we do. We were beaten in this surprise attack, but we haven't yet been annihilated. So don't you dare fly a white flag! We'll just wait. Crow will find out where Tomitake is. Our guys at the police station will expose the truth about R's death. So all we can do now is to wait and endure!
Excuse me, Major Takano was on the line. She sounds, extremely angry.
Shit! I don't have time to babysit a princess now! Ah, hello, yes, this is Okanogi. Yeah, well, don't jump to conclusions. It hasn't been decided yet. Why don't you have a cup of coffee first to calm yourself down? Yeah.
Okanogi tried to change the subject while pretending to laugh, but all he could hear was Takano's frantic voice. He couldn't even understand what she was trying to say. The second hand on the clock ticked on. Who was going to be able to smile at the end of it all? Today was going to be a long battle. Okanogi's instincts told him so.
How are you doing? Who was it? It was our marshal. They're gaining strength, but he's no match for me. Does he really think an office worker can win against a technician? Ha! But I'm glad he's playing golf today. If he actually came over, it would have gotten a little complicated. Did he call from a golf course? Is he working or what? I bet Ootaka-kun wanted to come over with the marshal. He's probably real upset about now. Since an indirect attack hasn't worked, do you think they'll try a direct one? Will Ootaka come here? If he can't get a hold of the chief, he'll have to. It's almost 8:30. The main doors will open soon.
Morning had finally arrived. The chorus of cicadas had begun. That familiar sound would make one think it was just another day. But it was hardly going to be normal. It wasn't just an ordinary Sunday. Ooishi and his men already realized they were grazing the tip of a huge conspiracy.
Knowing how Ootaka-kun is, he'll probably come through the main entrance. Yeah, that's what a guy like him would do. I'll be here to take care of the phone calls. You guys take care of him, okay? Okay, I'll go welcome him. Guma-chan, take care of this place.
Oh boy, is it Kronk time? The lobby of the Okinomiya police was just like that of any other police station. It could hardly be said to have a welcoming atmosphere. Some of the tiles on the floor were broken and cracked, so sometimes people tripped on them. Those spots were covered by pieces of cardboard, and there was a sign that said, "Caution, watch your step." There was also a pot with a dead plant in it. It was far from a friendly lobby. Unlike hospitals and banks, there wasn't a line of people at the counters of the police station, but there were a few on a sofa waiting for the counters to open. And they would open soon. Some workers were standing by on the other side of the counters. Ootaka was snobbish enough that Ooishi didn't want to deal with him first thing in the morning. If only he was a pretty young woman with big boobs. Okay, Ooishi. Ooishi and his men were on a very important job. If Ootaka found out that Rika Furude's death had been faked, the operation was finished. They're only able to shake up the enemy now, while Rika Furude's death is still on the books. They had to stall for every minute, every second they could, so Tomitake could seize hold of the tail that was popping out. So if the truth about Rika Furude's death was exposed before Tomitake had that chance, the enemy would recover. The emergency manual would regain its credibility, and although the enemy wouldn't enact it immediately, they would try again for sure. Rika Furude had detected the conspiracy ahead of time, but that was a miracle. The divine wins. Japan had prevented Mongol invasions twice in the past with such miracles, but nothing like that happened during World War II. Japan didn't do that. Those were fucking typhoons, right? Like, they just happened to get trapped in a typhoon twice and then they fucking lost? They gave up? They might not be so lucky next time. They might not get another chance. There might be no next time at all. Unless they defeated them this time, they would never win again. Yeah, we know it's the last chapter, chill. While it was possible to do some serious damage, a tied game would inevitably lead to the enemy's victory. They had to completely expose what the enemy was up to, allowing Tomitake to call in a suppression unit to defeat them. That was why Ooishi had to stop their vanguard here. His job, therefore, was an extremely important one. If the enemy's conspiracy succeeded, Hinamizawa would be destroyed, and more than 2,000 villagers would be executed in a gas disaster. Either way, the incident would never go public, but people's lives depended on him. Ooishi was violating his professional duties. However, he had to do what was right. Ooishi thought back to when the old man taught him that. Someone who, despite the hot weather, was wearing a suit, came in through the automatic sliding door. He had two of his colleagues with him. He was showing off his authority like he always did.
Good morning, Ootaka-kun! Tch! Well. Good morning, Ooishi-san. By the way, please don't address me with such familiarity. I'm no longer in a position where you can talk to me that way. Oh, don't be like that, Ootaka-kun. We used to play mahjong together, didn't we?
Ootaka seemed disgusted to hear that. He used to boast about being a good mahjong player, but Ooishi once beat him badly in front of many people, which hurt his pride.
I would love to chat with you, but I'm in a hurry today, so please excuse me.
Hey, don't say that! Don't you remember the time when you forgot to write certificates for the kendo tournament? You begged me to help you. I wrote them for you backstage, and that was why the award ceremony went on smoothly, didn't it?
I truly appreciate that, but that has nothing to do with this right now.
Oh, I didn't know you appreciated it. Sorry about that. I've never heard anything like that before. Down at the prefecture station, they think I begged to write it, and that you turned the offer down and let me write it for you. Wasn't that the excuse you used when the director called you up asking what happened since my handwriting on the certificates wasn't so great?
Well, I don't know. Maybe someone misunderstood. At the very least, I never said such a thing.
I feel like I'm also like I'm trying my best. I'll admit I don't remember if I've ever seen The Emperor's New Groove. But I know that I feel like I'm doing Kronk properly, right? Like the only Kronk line I actually know is, "Oh yeah, it's all coming together." But I feel like it's the same as Johnny Bravo. Like
oh mama.
The prefectural police headquarters may be your territory, but unfortunately this is the Okinomiya PD. You won't get your own way here.
Oh, and what do you mean by that, Ooishi-san?
I don't know why you're here, but your jurisdiction's in Gogura, not Okinomiya. I would like to ask you to leave.
What? Under what authority?
I swear, I'm doing Johnny Bravo more than Kronk, I'm sorry. And what authorization do you have to be here?
I'm in the middle of a classified investigation on behalf of headquarters. I've heard that there's an unidentified body related to that investigation here.
Well then, please inquire on the phone. Okinomiya isn't a rich neighborhood. This isn't a place where someone in a custom-made suit should be.
I see. So you're ganging up with the guys in forensics, huh? There should be an order from the marshal to hand over the autopsy report to the prefectural police headquarters.
Then there should have been an explanation to the marshal from the forensics department already. The body is still being examined. Because of a slip-up on our part, there's been a rumor going around that the body was already identified. Anyway, they need a little more time to finish up their report.
Then I would like to attend the autopsy.
No.
What? I'm requesting it as the person in charge of this classified investigation at the prefectural headquarters.
Oh, if that's the truth, look, I don't want to doubt your policeman's spirit. A policeman's spirit is a noble one, see? So, no one would go into this business if we weren't getting paid for it. But you know, you can't be a good detective without dedication that can't be measured by your pay alone. If you say you have that spirit, I'll let you through. Dude, fucking pirate music, going hard. The look in Ooishi's eyes made clear the anger that was roiling within him. As he looked into those eyes, Ootaka recalled all kinds of frightening memories. Ootaka didn't want Ooishi to sense his fear, but he couldn't prevent himself from loudly swallowing.
Okay. Then please let me through. I'm here because of my policeman spirit. Please step aside.
Why don't you make me with your policeman spirit? Come on!
What?
If your policeman spirit is as strong as mine, you should be able to brush me aside easily. Come on, try it. Ooishi was obviously saying that he had no intention of letting Ootaka through. How could he do this? Ootaka was confused. Ootaka was an elite policeman at the prefectural police headquarters. He believed academic background and performance record were enough to earn him trust. He has been working hard under that belief. But Ooishi doesn't acknowledge that, and he doesn't even respect him. He's a scumbag. He was the worst type of person. One who tried to establish their meaning and purpose only through rough means, refusing to acknowledge everything about their superiors in order to protect their own pride, as uncivilized people often did. Ootaka had been thinking ever since they worked together. Why did people trust in someone like Ooishi? Why did people respect someone like him? Why did people appreciate someone like Ooishi more than they did Ootaka?
Move! If you don't, I can accuse you of interfering with an investigation.
Oh? What kind of investigation? If you tell me, I'll help you.
Didn't you hear me? It's classified. I can't talk about it to someone like you.
I see. Well, if you can't tell me everything, you can tell me one thing instead. What do you have resting on your shoulders?
On my shoulders? What are you talking about?
I have something on my shoulders. The fate of 2,000 villagers rests there. If I let you through, those 2,000 villagers, no, their relatives as well, they'll all be very sad. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I have no idea what you're on about.
Okay, I'll tell you. Your boss is planning something terrifying. I bet you haven't thought it through that far, but it's a conspiracy that will make thousands of people unhappy. That conspiracy is about to crumble, and that's why they woke you up and ordered you to investigate. I don't know how much you're getting paid for this, but if that is more important than your policeman's spirit... Ooishi stopped talking there, but his eyes continued to speak after that.
What in the world are you talking about? Anyway, please just let me through.
Ootaka's baffled behavior confirmed what Ooishi had just said. He had been bought off by someone shady. Though maybe he didn't think that he was bought. He probably thought he was just filling the request to confirm Rika Furude's body as a favor from someone in the information network he assumed he built himself. Of course, the part about it being a classified investigation was a lie. But when an elite policeman from the prefectural headquarters said it was a classified investigation, everyone would grovel and salute him. But, Ooishi didn't salute him at all.
This is a waste of my time! I'll file a formal complaint to the marshal later. Ah!
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not done yet. As Ootaka tried to walk by, Ooishi grabbed him by the arm. Ootaka tried to make him let go, but Ooishi was just too strong.
How? Let me go, Ooishi-san!
Oh, I'm not putting that much strength into it. If you have a policeman's spirit, this shouldn't stop you. Your unshakable righteousness should knock me down easily. But you can't even get my hand off of your arm. Do you know why?
Get off of me!
It's because you don't have a policeman's spirit! Ooishi let go of his shoulder, and Ootaka tumbled onto the floor, sliding for more than 2 meters.
What is this? This is interference with an investigation! This is interference with a government official executing his duties! No, this is assault! Arrest him immediately!
Ootaka ordered his 2 colleagues around, but they didn't know what to do. Ooishi was also a policeman, and obviously there was something more going on between them. Besides, they could sense one thing. Their instincts were telling them that Ooishi was far stronger than them. They were no match at all.
What's going on, Ooishi-san?
Some officers were gathering in the lobby. They all looked puzzled. Nothing much. This greenhorn from the prefectural headquarters demanded something selfish, so I just taught him a lesson. The officers alternately looked between Ooishi and Ootaka. They knew something was going on, but they didn't know the circumstances, so they didn't know which one to stop. Ooishi was respected by the policemen of the Okinomiya station. Everyone respected him. If Ooishi said that Ootaka was being selfish, then he must be at fault. Ooishi was generally seen as sensible. All of them thought that Ooishi would only do this in a public place like a lobby if it was something major. Ootaka was feeling humiliated to get such attention. He stood up calmly, hiding his humiliation with anger.
I see. I understand your position. But I'm not here on a child's errand either.
I like your spirit. I'm ready to go if you are.
Bring it on, greenhorn! Oh! Not enough!
That all you got?
Damn it!
So that's your policeman's spirit? I have 2,000 Hinamizawa villagers resting on my shoulders. The lives of 2,000 people in my jurisdiction depend on me. Why don't you tackle me with a spirit that's strong enough to knock down 2,000 people?
Oh!
It was like watching a match between a sumo wrestler and a small child. No matter how many times Ootaka tried to tackle Ooishi, he simply crumbled against him. Ooishi stood firm, as if his feet were rooted to the earth. By the 3rd time Ootaka tumbled to the floor, he finally realized that he had been provoked. He caught his breath and fixed his hair.
Okay, I'll tell you. The case I'm investigating has something to do with the Sonozaki family. I was asked by someone to check on something.
Why are you beating around the bush? Can't you say it more directly than that?
At any rate, They're questioning the death of that girl said to be the mascot for the religion here in Hinamizawa. I have to confirm if she is dead or alive immediately.
I told you we explained that over the phone. It's still under investigation. They need more time.
Huh. Well, I didn't want to tell you this. This request was... I'll tell you the truth. It was requested by someone you really hate. Representative Sonozaki.
Huh. Ah, that scary man with the crest on his hakama, huh? Yeah, you're right, I do hate him. If that man threatened me, I'd have to abandon logic and push his demands through too.
See? See? Representative Sonozaki requested I check the body immediately. This is a request by a citizen. The police department is there for the citizens. Of course, I accepted his request. Rika Furude isn't just any girl in Hinamizawa. She's a very special little girl. If a rumor goes around saying her dead body was found, of course someone has to go confirm it, right?
You do better to not say things like that in a public place. You're in a lobby, you know.
Excuse me.
Ootaka suddenly realized his mistake. Some people were even whispering behind him. One of them spoke to Ootaka hesitantly.
Is it true that Rika Furude-chama is dead?
Don't worry, madame. We haven't confirmed that yet. We're from the prefectural police and that's why we're here.
That's right. It's not certain yet. We're still investigating as we speak.
I'm only asking to attend the autopsy. You had better think carefully. I'm here on behalf of Representative Sonozaki. If you keep interfering, I'll tell him all about it. If that happens, you'll be in a tight spot, Ooishi-san. Don't you think it's time to surrender?
Representative Sonozaki was well known in this area as an extremely tough congressman. The people who knew about him continued to whisper. Ootaka grinned when he heard them whispering. He realized then that in Okinomiya, his threat was more effective than he thought it would be.
Oh my! Did you really ask him to do that, Saburo-san?
Huh?
Sir, excuse me. Did Representative Sonozaki really ask you to do that? He certainly did. The representative asked me directly.
I guess Representative Sonozaki's different from Sonozaki Representative?
So, what about it? Ooishi-san? Isn't it time to surrender?
People continue to whisper. Representative Sonozaki is a big name around here, Ootaka thought. Even gangsters give way if someone mentioned his name here in Okinomiya.
So if you're really afraid of the representative, please let me through, Ooishi-san.
Please go to counter number 8 to get a traffic ticket reissued.
Huh? When did I get a traffic ticket?
Ooishi suddenly started to talk about something completely different. In fact, Ooishi was looking at something behind Ootaka. Huh? Who was he talking to, Ootaka wondered. Akane, der. An old-fashioned elderly man and a lady in a kimono were standing behind him. When Otaka's eyes met with hers, she smiled at him. She's definitely my type, Ootaka thought.
Hey, you! Were you really asked by Representative Sonozaki personally? Not by his secretary or someone else?
Yes, wrong voice.
Yes, of course. Representative Sonozaki and I are very close. He sometimes calls me directly.
The elderly man continued to listen with a puzzled expression.
Who the heck are you? Huh? There's no need for me to introduce myself. I'm just an ordinary policeman from the prefectural police headquarters.
What incredible timing! I mean... I can only laugh. Is that actually the politician? And they just swap the names around because they want to be weird? So I can laugh, right? I wasn't sure. Ootaka couldn't understand why Ooishi and this lady were laughing. What are you doing here together? Well, you know, remember that ticket? I didn't see the no left turn sign because of a tree branch. And there was a policeman on a motorcycle waiting right at the exit, and I didn't think that was fair. Saburo-san said I should complain, so that's why he came along today. Ah! Roadside trees are the City Hall's jurisdiction. We get those complaints pretty often, but it's a rather complicated matter.
I didn't like the fact that a policeman was waiting at the exit, so I'm here to complain about it.
I understand. I'll talk to City Hall and the traffic section. So do you think you can settle this peacefully for today?
If you say so. We'll leave quietly for today.
When Ootaka realized they were Ooishi's guests, he fixed his tie and spoke up.
But you have to pay for your traffic ticket. It's the law.
You sure are annoying, aren't you? He is, isn't he? Sometimes he can be pretty funny, though.
I'm in the middle of an important conversation with Ooishi-san. When you're done, please get going. Have a nice day, madame. Grab.
You have a nice day too, sir.
Grab.
The two of them grabbed Otaka's shoulders from behind. The lady grabbed his right shoulder and the elderly man grabbed his left. Mr. Prefectural Policeman, I have two things I detest in this world. Do you know what they are? One is Ch.8 mushrooms! I just don't like them, never have, ever since I was born. I don't like to eat them, and I don't like their broth either, your loss. The second one is lies. I don't like to use them, and I don't like when people use them with me. How can I step back after being ridiculed like this? I am the demon princess of Shishibone, Akane Sonozaki. I never back off when someone starts a fight with me. Don't say that about yourself. Also, that would have been perfect if you used a citizen instead of the demon princess. Huh? The police officers, the citizens in the lobby, and Otaka's colleagues didn't know what was going on. Let me introduce them. This is Akane Sonozaki-san. She's the vice president of the Shishibone City Women's Kendo Club. And this is Saburo Sonozaki-san. He's an honorary director of the Prefectural Kendo League. Oh, I should mention his formal title. This is Shishibone's 2nd District Representative, Sonozaki-sensei. Well, you're here to give Otaka-kun a lesson, right? He's the instructor for the Prefectural Police's Kendo Club, after all. Thank you for coming. Here, please show them to the dojo.
Representative? The same. Didn't you say we were close? I think we'll have lots of fun together today.
Oh, I'm so excited! The two of them were still clinging to his shoulders and laughing meaningfully. Ootaka laughed along with them. Great. I'm not sure I get the reference with me doing a Kronk voice the whole time, but I hope it was entertaining. Unless he shows up again and, like, I expected he was gonna say, like, a line that Kronk said. Like, I thought of a few others, like the angel on his shoulder. Like, no, he's got a point with that one. But I guess not. Either way, slightly short episode, but that's how this chapter's been so far. Better that I actually upload a short video than go another week without uploading, you know? Either way, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye! Yeah!